Well, I'm here with Ant Clay. We're at the Share conference in Atlanta. We're here, so this is for those that aren't familiar with it, it's the business user SharePoint conference. It's the first time here in the U.S.
Yeah.
And not Ant's first time in the U.S., but the conference, And so we're talking about, we're both doing business topics here, and something that's really interesting. So Ant works for 21 Apps out of the UK. I'll let him introduce himself here, but we're going to kind of talk about something other than SharePoint.
Absolutely.
Why don't you introduce yourself and what you guys do?
Cool. So yeah, Ant Clay. I'm Chief Strategy Officer at 21 Apps, and we're a really small SharePoint and innovation games consultancy based out of the UK. And I guess kind of our vision is to inspire people to change the way they work, and also to help them deliver SharePoint business value. So based on that inspire kind of stuff, we tend to look around in IT and outside of IT for new techniques that are going to make sense applying to the SharePoint world.
Right. Well, that's what was interesting to me, is that the first couple conversations that we had around SharePoint governance, and some of the issues around governance have less to do with like the policies and procedures that you put in place, and more with the, let's say, discovery process for organizations to figure out what those policies should be in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where innovation games is one way of finding those in the organization. I mean, what's kind of your technique, or why don't you just talk about what innovation games are?
So innovation games is basically it's a company based out of San Jose, I think they are. So a guy called Luke Homan wrote this book called Innovation Games, which has, I think, about 12 games in it, but its kind of history is in product development. Washing machines, non-techy stuff, and it's around understanding what your customers want, what they don't like about your product, requirements in effect, what features they need, that kind of stuff, prioritization of that, strategic roadmaps, all of that kind of stuff. And because it's very, I'll go through it in a bit, but because it's very hands-on, you develop relationships, you gain insights to what people really want, rather than me just saying, hey, what do you want from what YouTube? What do you want your washing machine? They're not good requirements, they're kind of bland, and there's no insight into it.
You catch people kind of, and that's how a lot of requirements are, where you sit down and have a formal requirements meeting and say, all right, and what are your requirements? What are your top 3 requirements? Right, exactly.
What's it do? Tell me what it does, and then I'll tell you what my requirements are. That's the circle you get with SharePoint a lot.
So how do you work with customers, and what do you do around innovation games?
So first, a bit of a definition, I guess. So innovation games is kind of the name that Luke Homan uses for his set of games, but basically they're kind of a broader set of games. So some people call them serious games, but then people start thinking you're talking about handheld devices playing games for a serious reason.
It sounds intense.
And it sounds intense.
Yes.
Other people call it collaborative play, which I kind of like that. I think collaborative play is a good word for it. And other names that people might be familiar with are game storming. So there's a book called Game Storming, which is a lot more open. So it kind of borrows games from different games and techniques from different areas. So any of those is basically what we talk about. So we apply all of those. So what was the question? I can't remember what the question was.
How you actually apply that? So how does 21 Apps and you work with customers and apply those techniques?
So we tend to do a lot of work with these sort of techniques around requirements gathering. So absolutely, as we played out, asking an end user what they want the system to do, you tend to get really bad requirements, or you get requirements that are based on the technology features. I ask you what you want, you say, well, what can SharePoint do? I tell you, I go around the wheel and tell you all the features, and you go, yeah, I'll have all of those please. Now that's not what the business needs, that's not actually what you want. It's kind of the easiest route for you to take.
Right.
So using serious games, innovation games, you basically work out, almost, users don't know what they don't know. They don't know what requirements they want.
Right.
They just know they have business pains.
Right. I often ask people, in some of my sessions I say, is it better to ask people what the requirements are and then show them the technology, in this case SharePoint, or to show them the technology and then ask them what they need? The reality is that there's pros and cons to both of those, and the right answer is that it's a mix of those and it's an iterative activity.
Yeah.
But again, it's great. It's a platitude to sit there and say that they do this iterative requirements gathering. What does that actually mean? How do you actually do that? That's where people get stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. So we play, I mean, there's a whole range of games. I guess we haven't got time to go through them all.
That's why you need to go and contact 21 Apps and ask them.
You know, you'll find us.
Apps,
Yeah, you want us, you'll find us.
Right.
Yeah, bat sense, we'll find you. So we use, as we're saying, let's talk about requirements gathering because that's the biggest area. So we use games like Sailboat. Yeah, Sailboat basically kind of simple. Yeah, you guys go and do this now. Yeah, go into your office, get a big, huge sheet of paper, get a pen, draw the sea. Yeah, just a line. Draw a boat on that sea. Yeah, and then you basically say above the water is kind of positive stuff, below is negative, and you can metaphors are a great thing for getting conversations, for getting insights into what people want. Using metaphors is a really powerful tool. And what we do is we say to the users, okay, on a post-it note, ideally an anchor-shaped post-it note, but just a post-it note, put on all the things that are dragging you back from delivering, for getting success from the platform or from your job. So all the negative things go as anchors under the boat, but it's a visual thing. What you find is, and you wouldn't, you don't do it to people, you have a load of group. You start getting conversations. Yeah, so I'll put a post-it note on. You'll say, oh, that's not a problem for me because actually what I do is this. So I might learn something, or we might find that you work in one way, I work in another. And as a facilitator, I'm looking at this and I'm writing notes. Yeah, okay. So he's got a problem with this. He hasn't. It works slightly differently, different departments, whatever, and you get insights. So it's really powerful. Yeah, you get a great kind of picture of what's positive and what's negative. But the real power is in the conversations that you're stimulating.
In traditional use case writing, if you're developing use cases and you're identifying the actors in the system, the different scenarios that the actors involved in, developing whatever your methodology is for capturing the use cases. Again, one of the iterative activities that happens is it's not just done at that point where you've identified it. You then need to go and have conversations around that and get feedback into that, from which you'll add to and modify that, and then prioritize your use cases. So I mean, this is really putting it into using the metaphor. Yep. It's just putting all those activity and writing robust use cases with all those activities.
Yeah, absolutely. A game that I love, and these games you play them separately, but what we do is we actually spend some time designing what is it the outcome we're trying to get to, and then what combination of games and activities do we need to put together to get you to where you want to go. So it could be that you've got requirements and you need to prioritise them. It could be that actually you haven't got a clue and you want to innovate. So we'll use different techniques to get to that point. But you string these games together, the outputs of one goes into the other. As you say, you kind of can iterate through these games. My absolute favourite game is a game called Product Box.
Product Box? Product Box.
So basically you get, a cereal box? Yeah, you eat cereal. It looks like you might have, breakfast.
I've had it once a week.
Yeah. So if you think of a cereal box, on the front is the kind of wow, this is what it is, the kind of almost a vision statement for Cheerios or whatever. Yeah. On the side, I think you have the ingredients.
Correct.
Yeah. Top and bottom, nobody's got a bloody clue what goes on top and bottom.
The serial number, the barcode.
It's kind of boring stuff. Yeah. And on the back is just more detail.
Or the puzzle, the game, the free gift that's inside, right?
So that's a box that sells cereal. Yeah. So if you think, what we do is we get tables, and we're doing this in a session. I'm doing a session workshop tomorrow playing these games. We basically get a load of craft materials. Yeah. So I'm talking pipe cleaners. I'm talking glitter pens, felt tips, glue, all of this stuff. Yeah. A load of craft materials.
So craft-based technology consulting is what you're doing.
Craft-based technology.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a wave of the future.
It is, absolutely. So you put all this stuff, and you basically say, right, guys. So depending on what you're trying to do. So I've done it. You're going to have a social internet. What do you want from a social perspective? How do you want SharePoint to work for you? And that's a bit of not a great way of framing it, but you can do. Or just what are your requirements? What do you want the system, whatever it is, to do? And you let them rip with glitter glue. So the CEO, whatever, just you might have to give them overalls or whatever, but be careful. Don't run with scissors. I have to tell them that. Magazines and stuff like that. And they make a product box that represents their requirements.
Okay.
So what's great? So that's great, and it's good fun. And you just try doing kind of putting a my site or a document library with craft materials. It's really hard. You don't do that. You end up ignoring the technology features, even if you know about them, and basically putting kind of outcomes. This is what I want it to do. And then we get them to basically play it back on with video, a bit like this, and get people to basically present them back to the rest of the group. So you get some insights because you hear what they're saying. People tend to tell a story. So we did it, and somebody put this big, huge, green, fluffy ball on the top of the box, and that was about their presence. So the presence information was really, really important to them. So he's holding this box up and he goes, I need to know, and people need to know where I am and what I'm doing, and I need to know about my team. So presence is really important. But it's just a big, green, fluffy ball on top of this box. But it tells a story. This is why. You can ask them, so why do you need that? And you get awesome insights. And it's better than me going, so what do you want? Okay.
Well, that's what you're really trying to. I mean, the key to solid requirements are really understanding, one, what the actual business problem is. So again, not getting caught up in the features and what people think. People put blinders on of what they think that the possible technology solution can be. Well, if it can only be that, then they'll only define their problem to fit within the solution they think that can be solved.
Absolutely.
Instead of adequately and completely defining what the problem is. And then two, being creative about that process, help them really understand what are the priorities. What if I'm designing this system, what are my key priorities? And in this example, I mean, I was just thinking designing a product box that you want to highlight then the key values, the features that you want out of the solution, not the technology, but here are the key benefits that I want out of the system.
Sure.
And I would want those to be the bullets, of what's on the box. I mean, I think that's it's a much needed, escape from traditional requirements gathering.
Absolutely. And you can kind of how you frame the question, will really affect the answers you get. So you can do it like open product box, do what you like. You could even go down, I guess, do a product box on something really specific. So your my site, or your profile, or how a workflow works. So you can kind of take this to open. Just guys, what do you want? Show me.
I started my career being trained on joint or rapid application development process, so JAD-RAD model, which is that you lock everybody in a room, but you have designers, developers, project managers, and customer all sitting there and walking through and it works great with like UI development. But this actually makes that sound less threatening.
No, absolutely.
But you could lock them in the room and do it.
Yeah, technically you could,
You will play this game. You will play with crafts. And build your box.
So basically,
that's what 21 Apps is all about. Locking people in rooms, playing with crafts.
Absolutely.
That's what I summarize.
Yeah, I like that. We might put that on the website. Maybe. So it's great. So, but the key, I guess, the key thing across all of the techniques we use is it's visual. It's kind of a shared experience because it's those conversations that you get that are real, kind of the nuggets. And it's leveling. If you've got like 5 people around a table, one's a CEO, you've got the admin guy, whatever. You're building a box. That's it. Whether he's the CEO, he's got to present. Everybody's got to do the same thing.
By leveling, you mean that so everyone's hearing what everybody else says, and then they can call BS on. It's like, no, that's not a priority. Here's why, and they can talk it out right there.
And it's getting that conversation, which is why it's great for engagement. So for getting users and business people engaged together, but also with yourselves, and it just works so well. It's just really awesome. But it's all around kind of visuals. So you can't do this in Word. It kind of sounds obvious, but you can't. It's about visual stuff. So it's either that's kind of like the extreme. You build a box. What you can do, different dynamic, different results, is get kind of like a washing machine box. And just get a team of people working on it together. And then you get that kind of team. So you as a team, what's your requirements? Here's a box, go for it. And again, you've got to be, you've got to really listen to the conversations. But Yeah, do that. So we tend to do it on one-to-one basis. Everybody's got a box and build it. But if people want to team up, or if you want to get a huge box, and who cares? You need more craft materials.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
We could go out to like go look for crafts after this.
I've got them. They're in a room. They're ready. Yeah, we're ready to go. So it's about that visual kind of. Metaphors are great, but it's around having a visual representation.
Well, this is one of the things I would say as we wrap up is that if you take a look at the 21 Apps website, I mean, so you guys do a lot of visual things, and there's sharing the stories, and there's videos, and with your narration actually showing as you illustrate different things.
Sure, yeah.
So it's some fantastic content that's on there, and if you want more information about that, just go to 21apps.com.
Absolutely.
And you can look at me. So Aunt Clay and Andrew Woodward, your associate there, and you got a new office that's opening up in
Birmingham, so I don't know when this is going out, but I guess we'll have it, and that's not going to be an office. So if you guys in the UK, actually I don't care where you are, wherever you are, if you come to the UK, we're going to have a space, not an office, although there'll be desks, a couple of desks. It's a space, big whiteboards for doing this kind of stuff, workshops, collaboration, that kind of stuff. So come out of your office, come to ours. Let's get your requirements.
You can also follow Ant on Twitter at SoulSailor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And well, thanks a lot for your time.
It's a pleasure. See you later, guys.